We have learned in Parshas Kisovoi, towards the end of the Parsha, Vayikro Moshe el Kol Yisrael. Moshe called the all Klal Yisrael, Vayomer Aleihem, and he said to them, Atem reisem es kol asher oso Hashem leinechem. You have seen all what HaKadosh Baruch Hu has done in front of your eyes. Be'eretz Mitzrayim, in the land of Egypt. Lefaroi, to Pharaoh, l'chol avodov, to all his servants, to l'chol arzoi, and to all his land. Hamasois hagdoilois asher ro einecho, the great miracles which your eyes have seen, the signs and the wonders, the great ones. And nevertheless, Hashem did not give you leiv lo das, a heart to know, ve'inayim lirois, and eyes to see, ve'oznayim lishmoya, and ears to hear, until today, until this day. Although you have seen all the great miracles 40 years ago of Nisim, of Yitzias Mitzrayim, and yet you didn't have a heart to understand, eyes to see, or ears to hear until today, 40 years later. So Rashi explains why. What does it mean? They didn't have a heart to know. To recognize the kindness, the great acts of kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to cleave, in order to cleave to Him. That's what the pasuk means. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu was rebuking the Klal Yisrael in this pasuk. That you didn't have a heart to know, that means you did not recognize the Chazdei HaKadosh Baruch Hu in order to cleave to Him during 40 years. Ad hayoim hazeh, until today. Rashi says, Shomati, I heard, she'oiso hayoim, this was the day Shenosan Moshe Sefer HaTorah Livnei Levi, that Moshe Rabbeinu gave over the Sefer Torah to the sons of Levi, כמו שכתוב בפרשת ויילך ויתנו אל הכהנים בני Levi. What happened? Bo Kol Yisrael, all the other Shvotim, all the Yidden came to Moshe and they told him, Moshe Rabbeinu, we also stood at the Har Sinai and we received the Torah and it was given to us. So why do you let the sons of the Levi alone own the Sefer Torah? Why do you give the Sefer Torah only to the children of your Shevet, to the Bnei Levi, and why not to us? And tomorrow there'll come a day when the Bnei Levi will tell us, you are not from the Bnei Yisrael, because you have not received the Torah. And Moshe Rabbeinu rejoiced when he heard the Yidden. They were asking also a Sefer Torah. They were jealous of the Bnei Levi. Moshe Rabbeinu rejoiced on their claim. And he said, today I understood that you cleave to the Rebbeinu Shel Olam and you want to serve Him. Since you are asking for the Sefer Torah, today you have a heart to know, you have eyes to see, and you have ears to hear. But up until today, you didn't have a heart to know, you didn't have eyes to see, and you didn't have ears to hear. That's what Rashi brings. So we have to understand, just from the fact that the Yidden asked the Sefer Torah because they saw they saw that Moshe Rabbeinu was giving over the Sefer Torah to the Bnei Levi, and they were jealous. They said, why do you give the Sefer Torah only to your Bnei Shevet, only to the children of your Shevet? From that alone, is Sheina ganze Reihe, it's already a proof that now they understand the Chazdei Amokoim, now they understand the kindness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in order to cleave to Him. So there is a Medrash Rabbo, a Medrash Yalkut Shimoini, on the spot that say, Omar Rabbi Yitzchok, at the time when HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the Torah to the Yidden Behar Sinai, and they said, Naseh v'nishma, and then they heard the two first commands of the Aseret HaDibros, Onoichi v'lo yeh lecho, as you know, Porcho nishmosam, then the Shomer left them because it was so hard to hear the voice of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And from then on, they begged Moshe Rabbeinu that he should speak to them the rest, not HaKadosh Baruch Hu direct, because they don't have the strength to bear the voice of Hashem, to hear the voice of Hashem. And Moshe Rabbeinu wasn't very happy about it. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Moshe, Mi yitein v'hoyo levovom ze lohem leyiro oisi kol hayomim asher hem chayim al pnei adomo. Alevai mi yitein, who shall give such a siyata dishmaya, who shall give such a siyata dishmaya, should be zoiche forever to have the same madrege, the same yiro which they have got now. Alevai, don't ask too much, that means. Mi yitein v'hoyo levovom ze lohem kol hayomim leyiro osi kol hayomim, kol hayom. There is a medrash that Rabbi Yitzchak Omer, Omar lohem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, kfuye toive, b'nei kfuye toive. You are ungrateful, sons of the ungrateful one. Why are you ungrateful? Because when you heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, Mi yitein, who shall give them siyata dishmaya, that they should have the same yiras Hashem forever, why did you stay quiet? Why did you just hear this compliment and you stayed quiet? You should have asked, Ato titein. When you heard the Rebbeinu Shel Olam saying, Mi yitein, who shall give? That they should have the same madrig of Yiras Hashem, you should have answered, Ato titein, Rebbeinu Shel Olam. Mi yitein. What's pshat mi yitein? Who else? Who else then? Who can give us the same madrig? Who can protect us? We should always stand at the same madrig as now at Har Sinai, if not you. And the Medrash gives a moshel to make it even clearer. Once there was a terrible serpent, an achna. And there was a charmer, that person whose job is to play with a flute to the serpents so that they should not bite. And everybody was trooping around this terrible snake, and everybody was asking, who can charm that serpent? I'm sorry, the charmer himself said, who can charm that serpent? And all the people who were around the snake and the charmer, they said, what do you mean? What are you asking? Who can charm this serpent, if not you? You are the biggest charmer in the world. Of course, it's you who can charm that serpent. So what are you asking me? Me, who can charm that serpent? The nimshal is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when he said, Mi yitein v'hoyo levovom ze liyirosi, and the Bnei Israel heard how HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, who can give them the same madrege of yiras shumayim? And you heard that and you didn't answer anything. You were very snug with yourself. You were very, very complacent with yourself. You just listened to the compliments. You should have answered, Yakfuye toive. You are ungrateful ones. You have the opportunity to, Rebbeinu Shel Olam gives you a hint, Mi yiten, who shall give them siyata dishmaya, and you stay quiet. You should have said, Rebbeinu Shel Olam, Ato titein, you give us siyata dishmaya. And you stayed quiet. So therefore, you are kfuye toive, you are ungrateful ones. So we see from this medrash when someone has got the opportunity to seize an occasion to ask for isalus, to ask for progress, to ask to seize the moment, opportunity which is given to him. There is a hint min hashomayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is poishet yad. HaKadosh Baruch Hu poishet yad lekabel shovim. As we say in the slichas every morning, L'cho Hashem atzdoko v'lo nu b'shes aponim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is poishet yad. There comes a Rosh Hashanah with Aseret Yimei Teshuvah. Dirshu Hashem be'imotzoi kerehu b'yosokorev. Already in Elul we felt different. Those are Yemei Rotzen v'Rachamim. And now we're in the days of the Slichas. And if we do not seize the opportunity, then Chas v'Sholom, that means we are Kfuye Toive. We do not appreciate the Toive. That's what it means, Kfuye Toive. There is a wonderful opportunity to do Tshuva, and we do not seize this opportunity. That is called Kfuye Toive. B'nei Kfuye Toive. Sons of Adam Arishon, who was the first Kofui Toiver of the world in the history of the world, because he said, O Isho, Asher Nosato Imodi, because of the wife you gave me, I have sinned. Instead of thanking Rabbeinu Shalom, thank you for the wonderful wife you have given me. You accuse her, you put the blame on her. Because of her, I have gesündigt. Ja, B'nei Kfuye Toiver, B'nei Kfuye Toiver. Now we understand what is so wonderful in this action, that the Bnei Yisrael, when they saw Moshe Rabbeinu give the Sefer Torah to the Bnei Levi, they did not stay quiet. They didn't say, well, very good, beautiful, Yeshar koichachem, Tovo ya'alechem brocho, you are asking for a Sefer Torah, very good, we have got an ayin toive for that. You should be blessed. No. Moshe Rabbeinu is distributing Sefer Torah to the Klal Yisrael, and he gives the Sefer Torah to the Bnei Levi. They said, Moshe, why do you favor the Bnei Levi more than us? We also received the Torah at Har Sinai. Aha, now you are seizing the opportunity. Now you are asking for Torah. You are asking. You are clamoring for Torah. We also want a Sefer Torah. Now, Ayoim azeni yesolo. Rashi says, today you have become a nation of people. That's what the Am Yisrael is. The Am Yisrael is a people who is never satisfied, who always clamors for more Torah, for more tshuva. Ayoim azeni yesolo. But up till today, you didn't have a heart to know. You didn't have eyes to see. You didn't have ears to hear. You saw all the nisim, Kriyas Yamsuf, Asor Makois, the Mond, and on a covered. But what did it bring to you? How did you behave? You were all the time, you were rebelling. All the time, you were complaining. You were lacking in emunah. You cried the night of Tisha B'Av. Where is your Hakoras HaToiv? What does all the nisim bring to you? You didn't show an appreciation of the nisim. Maybe you have seen the nisim. Yes, you said Zekei Livan Veyu. Yes, you sang the Shiras Hayom. Yes, you did see the nisim. But what kind of Hakoras HaToiv Lemaise, in practice, in your behavior, I didn't see any results from all the nisim of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Until today. What was today so wonderful? Only this, plain, very, something which seemed to be insignificant. They came and asked Moshe Rabbeinu, we are also Yidden. We also want a Sefer Torah. That is it. Now you have got a heart to understand. Now you have got eyes to see and ears to hear. Hakoras HaToiv. To seize the opportunity and the occasion when we can to ask, there comes Yemei HaSliches. We are already in the Yemei HaSliches v'Rachamim. Aseret Yimei Teshuvah. How can we stay idle? How can we stay quiet? We have to grasp the opportunity, Rebbeinu shel olam, please, atot itein, ashivenu ovinu lesoirosecho, v'korvenu malkeinu la'avodosecho. Let us ask in our tefillos for siyata dishmaya to the tshuva. It says in the Gemara, we say the pasuk in Uvolitzion, towards the end of Uvolitzion, we say, Archev picho v'amaleu, open up your mouth very wide, and I shall fill it. That means, levakesh harbe. Ask for a lot of things. Do not ask for half things. Ask for a lot. You have to be very ambitious. Do not be afraid. Ask for a lot. Archev picho. Open wide your mouth in tefillah, and I'll answer all your tefillahs, your bakoshes. As I state in pasuk, this we say in Ovolitzion, this pasuk. Comes the Gemara and says, das nicht kein derech eretz. If we say that we speak about gashmiyas, we ask for a lot of money, we ask for a lot of gashmiyas, of materialistic hanoes and profits, that's not the way to behave to the Rebbeinu shel olam. Rebbeinu shel olam, give me a lot of gashmiyas. That's not the way. We are not speaking about that. What we are speaking about, we are speaking ahu b'divrei Torah ksiv. We are speaking in ruchnis. When it comes to ruchnis, then we are allowed to ask a lot. Archev picho v'amaleu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, He will grant it to us. Archev picho v'amaleu. In ruchnius, there is no limit. No limit. Instead of breaking our heads about worrying about our situation in finance, in health, in all the gashmiyas, let us switch our mind to ruchnis, because it's useless at any rate. We are taking the wrong attitude, the wrong derech, the wrong way. What we have to ask is for ruchnis. We have to ask for siyata dishmaya. We have to ask for tshuva. Everybody says all the time, Shane mukum shane mazal. When we hear someone has moved, oh, shane mukum shane mazal. Everybody knows that. Well, in actual fact, when you look in the Gemara that speaks about Meshane mukum shane mazal, it's true. It's true. But there are other things that are Meshane the mazal, and that people don't talk a lot about. And one of the things is shinui maise, to change one's behavior, to the tshuva. And that people don't speak it. Shanim Mukim, yeah, everybody knows. Shinui Hashem, Hashem should protect us, everybody knows. But Shinui Maise, which is the most important. Because the whole purpose of Yisurim, of suffering in the life of a person, is in order to provoke him to tshuva. Ein Yisurim beli chet. There is no suffering without a chet, without a sin. And if a person sees that Yisurim come on him, Rachmana litzlan, yefashpesh b'maisov, steht in the Gemara. The Gemara says one should introspect himself. What am I doing? Maybe I have got to become better. Maybe there are things that I can mend in my behavior. The Gemara doesn't say, Yisurim bo yimolav. If a person sees there are Yisurim coming on him, he should change it, he should move from a different place, which is the first reaction of people usually. They say, we have to move out from this house, we have to move out from this town, we don't have a chas v'shalom a good mazel in this place, before starting to want to move. The Gemara says, Yisurim bo yimolav, yefashpesh b'maisov. That's the thing one has to do. There can also be Meshane Mokum, Meshane Mazel, but that alone won't help. Meshane Mokum, Meshane Mazel is only to change the surroundings so that the person should feel he has to start afresh his life. He has to start a new life. He has to change himself. It's only a tachbula, it's only a ruse. How a person should change his surrounding in order to have a new ideas, to refresh himself, to become a new person. But the main thing is to change his behavior. Hakoras hatoiv to the Rebbeinu shel olam. Lehakir chazdei Hashem. To recognize the chazdei Hashem and to be grateful, and then to realize, Rebbeinu shel olam, I'm a kafui toive. You give me so much, and how do I pay you back in return? To ask this question. You know, this argoshe, this feeling of gratefulness or ungratefulness is the key to tshuva. The Rabbeinu Yoine in Sha'arei Tshuva says, you know that in tshuva there are 20 madregas. There are 20 stages of tshuva. One after the other. It's all written in Sha'arei Tshuva Rabbeinu Yoine. Although there are two minimum stages which everyone has to do, that is the minimum, the strict minimum, that is regret, charote, alo over, on the past, ve'azivo, and to forsake his bad behavior, alo osit, to change his ways. Those are the two things which are minimum, strict minimum to have a tshuva. But there is another 18 things after that which correspond to madregos of tshuva. That is, the tshuva can be higher and higher and higher and higher until it reaches kisei hakovod. Gedoylo tshuva shemagas at kisei hakovod. Tshuva is so great that it can lift up a man up to the heavenly throne. שנאמר שובו ישראל עד השם אלוקיך, return O Israel till Hashem אלוקיך. So tshuva can bring a man mamish to the highest madrege. In order to achieve that, one has to go through all the 20 principles of teshuva. I'm just going to quote to you the first of the 18. So the first of the 20 is charote, regret. The second is azivas hachet, to forsake and to leave the chet, not to do the chet again, right? Now, the third, we're starting now the madregas at tshuva, that is yogoin. Now, what is yogoin? Yogoin va'anocho. What is yogoin va'anocho? Yogoin means a person who has got a zerbrochene heart, who is bitter, very unpleasant, is very sad, is mamish, very upset about what he has done. That is yoga. Now, we have to understand what difference is there between regret and charote and yogoy. Because l'chure, at first view, it seems that regret is the same as yogoy. What is regret? Regret means I'm opening up my eyes, and I see the way I behaved is not the right way to behave, and I regret, and I'm very sorry about it. Yes? So, charote, regret, means about the same as yogoin. So why should yogoin be added on the list? What does yogoin add more than charote, than regret? So what can we say? It's the same feeling. Regret, charote, and yogoin is the same feeling. I feel very bad about my chatoim, but the difference is in intensity. What does it mean? So Rabbeinu Yonah explains like this with a moshel. He says, someone has lost 100 pounds because he made a plain mistake, a sheer stupidity. He sent cash by the post to pay for an item. And he's waiting for that item to be delivered. He waits and he waits and he waits. And it doesn't come. So he picks up the telephone. I've sent you 100 pounds. Why don't you send me the item? And that person answers, I've never received the 100 pounds. How did you send it? I sent you two 50 pounds note in an envelope. Well, I've never received it. Did you send it registered? No. I'm sorry, it must have been lost or stolen. What can you do? Goes to the post office. Have you registered it? No, we can't help you. You never sent cash in an envelope. It was a stupid mistake to do. So that person will be sorry. That person has paid 100 pounds to learn a lesson. From now on, she will never send money, cash in an envelope. Very good. So people will console that person. You know, you have paid 100 pounds, like you pay 10 pounds for driving lessons. So you have paid 100 pounds to learn a behavior lesson of derech eretz that you don't send 100 pounds by the post. That is charote. And that will help. He won't repeat again the same stupidity, you understand? That is charote. Enough pain, to have enough pain to learn a lesson, not to repeat again the same shtus. But there is a different kind of regret. A person was a very wealthy man. He had thousands and thousands of pounds, hundreds of thousands of pounds, a millionaire. And suddenly there was a crash, Achmon al-Islam, and he lost all his money, mamish, even the house, Achmon al-Islam, even his house. From one day to the next, he goes in the street like a beggar, like a tramp. Only the clothes which are on him, that's all mamish. You might see, there were stories in real life like that. Now, that person, he also lost money, yes? Now, is it just like losing 100 pounds? And what can he learn for a lesson there? Can you console him and say, you have learned a lesson, you have paid? Shtus him. You can't console him. That's impossible. Just to tell him, this regret, this kind of pain, of bitterness, yeah, this is Yogan, says Rabbeinu Yoinu. So you see, the difference between Yogan, there's a jump here. From Charote to Yogan is two worlds. Charote is like losing 100 pounds, and Yogan is like losing all your money. He will never forget the rest of his life, this tragedy. That is Yogan. The question is, but when we learn in Rabbeinu Yoinu, when he explains what regret is, Rabbeinu Yoinu says the following. He says, how did I do such a stupid thing? I behaved like an animal. I rebelled against the Ribono Shel Olam. I wasn't afraid of the tochoches, of the punishment, of the fear of Hashem. How did I dare rebel against him? I was cruel on my body, who is going to suffer because of my sins. I was cruel on my neshama, which has become tomei because of my sins. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu breathed into my nostrils a nishmas chaim, a neshama of life, so that the neshama should dominate my body, should be the master over my body. The same as he has dominated man over the animal world. I have to dominate my animal. And instead I let my body dominate my neshama. So lo mo li chayim. What do I need to live for in such a way? If I let my body dominate my neshama, so my life has no purpose. Lo mo li chayim. What do I need life for? That is regret. Now I'm asking you, when someone loses 100 pounds, does he say lo mo li chayim? What do I need to live for? Rabbeinu Yoinu said, the pshat, the difference between charote and yogan is charote is like 100 pounds, losing 100 pounds. It's enough to learn a lesson, not to repeat it again. He'll never send again cash in an envelope. 100 pounds is enough. Yoga in his mom is a terrible tragedy that for all the rest of his life he'll remember it. He'll be bitter about it. But when we read in the Rabbeinu Yoinu, in Shara Charote, in Ikar Charote, about the regret, he says, since I let my body rule my neshama, so lo mo li chayim, what do I need life for? That's how you say when you lose 100 pounds. It seems that here the Rabbeinu Yoinu explains that Charote is as bad as Yoga. Lo mo li chayim, such a terrible bitterness, that I'm asking lo mo li chayim. About tshuva has to ask himself, lo mo li chayim, the way I behave now, if I waste my time, if I speak bad words which are forbidden to speak, if I lose my temper, if all what we are doing usually, yes, about tshuva has to ask, that's the way I have to live. Is this the purpose why I came into this world? To let my midas, to let my temper dominate me? To be lazy, to be greedy, to be jealous, to be full of hatred. Is this the way I to behave? Lo malichaim. So what do I need life for? That was not the purpose of life. The purpose of life was that the neshama should dominate the body, not the body of the neshama. Lo malichaim. So it seems it doesn't coincide with what Rabbeinu Yonah says later on about the moshel with 100 pounds. So pshat is like this. If we read in Rabbeinu Yonah, we see when he speaks about charote, about the regret, he speaks only about a feeling of selfishness. How was I cruel on my body? How wasn't I afraid on the punishments which are reserved to the Roshe? How did I soil my neshama? He doesn't speak about akoras hatoiv. How is that I was ungrateful to the Rabbeinu Shalom and I dared to disobey to his commandments after all the kindness he has bestowed upon me. He doesn't speak about it at all. In charote, in regret, Rabbeinu Yonah doesn't mention at all this idea of to be grateful to the Rabbeinu Shalom. I was ungrateful to the Rabbeinu Shalom. I am sorry because I wasn't grateful. No. Charote is solely an egoistic regret. I was stupid. I wasted my life. I suffered in my life. I'm the only one to be held responsible for it. If my life is in a mess, it's because of me. And if I don't do tshuva, it's going to be even worse. And chas v'sholem, it can go on after my departure from this world. So all the feeling of regret, which is the first feeling of about tshuva, we start from that, is purely egoistic, selfish. Why? Why don't you say, I regret what I have done because I have been ungrateful to the Rabbeinu Shalom? In Yogoin, when you see in Yogoin, it's just the opposite. In Yogoin, Rabbeinu Yonah say, Mamnesh fikert. He only speaks about akoras hatoif. He says, how is that I dared rebel against the Rabbeinu Shalom who was so kind with me, who is leading me, who created me from nothing. Asher boro yesh me'ayin. He's asking himself, Rabbeinu Shalom, I was nothing before my creation. He made me out of nothing. He made me. He is my master. He gives me to eat. He lets me breathe. He leads me every step of the way. How did I dare be so ungrateful and rebel against him? That's yoga. There he doesn't speak about punishments or to be afraid of punishments or I soiled my neshama, like he speaks about charote. So what do we see from here? We see from this the difference, the moshel of the 100 pounds, yes, and to lose one's all money, all his fortune, is only a picture to make a difference between the two, but the difference is not in the quantity, in the intensity. One can be as intense in feeling sorry in charote as in yoga. The only thing is, for what do you feel sorry? In charote you feel sorry because of selfish reason. I've made a bad deal with myself. I've wasted my life. I made a mess of my life. And I'm still making it. If I don't change, then it's going to be worse and worse. So everything is centered on me. Why? Because the Rosh at that moment has no access to akoras hatoif. The same as the Yidden, during 40 years in the Midbar, they did not grasp what akoras hatoif to the Rabbeinu Shalom meant exactly. In order to do tshuva, in order to ask from the Rabbeinu Shalom, atot itein, give us Yatad Ishmael, give us Sefer Torah, help us to do tshuva. Kal v'chomer a Rosh who is starting to do tshuva now, how can he have such lofted idea of akoras hatoif? The only way to start doing tshuva as a person is to use the selfishness for a good purpose at least. The best egoistic person is the person that becomes a tzaddik. From a Rosh, he becomes a tzaddik. He is the strongest egoist person in the world. He is more egoistic than the Rosh, because the Rosh is wasting his life. And the Torah encourages that. Be egoistic. Look after your own selfish interest. But realize, what is your own selfish interest? Your own selfish interest is to obey to the Rebbeinu Shel Olam, is to obey to the commandments of the Torah. That's your happiness in this life and the next life. Go ahead and do it. Don't speak about Hakoras HaTov yet. You don't hold up to that. After you have been sorry, after you have changed your way of life, after you have done Charot and Azivas Achet, then the Rebbeinu Shel Olam will circumcise the Orlas Halev, the skin which is surrounding your heart. And then you'll be able to grasp what Ahavas Hashem means, what Hakoras HaTov means. You'll open up your eyes and you'll realize the Rebbeinu Shel Olam has been so good to me. And he's being so good to me every step of the way. So I must cling to him. I must cleave to him. I must go back to him. That is Yogoin. And this feeling of Hakoras HaTov, says Rabbeinu Yonah, is the basis for all the madregos hatshuva which will lift up a man right up to Kisei HaKoved. He says himself that this feeling of Yogoin, according to how much a person feels Yogoin in his heart, and he has to feel it till the end of his life. So much so, he will be loved by the Rebbeinu Shel Olam. And so much so, it will protect him from the Yisurei Aguf, says he. He says, this, it's a wonderful thing, this. People think, that's what we have to spend the rest of our life in Yogoin. Rabbeinu Yonah says, when Rebbeinu Shel Olam sees a person is bitter about what he has done, then he forgets all his anger on that person. And he will protect him from all the Yisurei Aguf. Because whenever there are two kinds of suffering, the suffering, physical suffering, and mental suffering of the neshama, this bitterness of the neshama, this to be sorry about the ungratefulness which I've shown to the Rebbeinu Shel Olam. Rebbeinu Shel Olam prefers the Yisurei HaNefesh than the Yisurei Aguf. So it's a sgula to be spared of all the Yisurei Aguf. So a person should ask the question, is it a deal? Is it a way to spend all the rest of my life in Yogoin? Hazoirim bedimo. Berino ikzoire. Yogoin is hazoirim bedimo. Yogoin, that's the way to reach to Ad Kisei HaKoved. So we see from here something which we didn't realize before, that how much, as Rav Dessler says, how much the midas ha-chesed, b'chesed ve'emes yuchupar ovoin, how much the midas ha-chesed, the quality of chesed, which leads to Hakoras HaTov, how important it is in Yechupar Oven, in Kaporas Oven. Because the key to Yogoin, which is the key of Madregas HaTeshuvah, that wonderful Madrega of Teshuvah, which can lift a person right up to the Kisei HaKoved, is solely built on Hakoras HaTov. There is no other Argoshe which Rabbeinu Yonah mixes besides that one. That's the only one. V'lo nosan Hashem lochem, leiv lo das. If we would say to someone, you don't have any heart to understand, you don't have any eyes to see, no ears to hear, how can you insult me in such a way? What do you mean I have no heart to understand? What do you mean I have no eyes to see? What do you mean I have no ears? Yes, because you are ungrateful to the Rebbeinu Shalom. You won't understand. You won't understand. And that's what we have read in Parshas Kisovoi, in Shvi of Parshas Kisovoi, that Moshe Rabbeinu told them, during 40 years, you have been behaving mamish like shoitim, like fools. You didn't have any heart to understand. For what? Why? What happened? How did we behave? You were ungrateful. You did not recognize the kindness of the Rebbeinu Shalom. You are not makirim chasdei amokoi, lihidovek boy, to go back to him. That was the tochocha of Moshe Rabbeinu, the tochocha of Yoga. Charote, that is yes, it is a very strong feeling, charote. Lo molichaim. What do I need to live for? But this is based on selfishness, on fear of the Oinshim. Yiras Oinish. How is that I'm not afraid of the Oinshim? The Tochoches, we have read the Tochoches of Parshas Kisovoi. It says in the Gemara in Maseches Megillah, why do we read the Tochoches of Parshas Kisovoi just before Rosh Hashanah, at the end, towards the end of the year? The Gemara says, because Tichle Shono Vekile Lo Seyo. Because we want to ask from the Rebbeinu Shel Olam that the kololes, the curses which have fallen upon us in this year, the Shnas Tashna, they should finish now. Tichle Shono Vekile Lo Seyo. So we read the Tochoches of Parshas Kisovoi just before Rosh Hashanah. You hear that? It's a Gemara in Maseches Megillah. Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis. What does it mean? We read the Tochoches so that Tichle Shono Vekile Lo Seyo. Pshat is Pashut. We read the Tochoches in order to fear the Yiras Oinish, Gewalt. Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says, if we are living the way we live, yes, Baruch Hashem, we have nothing to complain much here, Baruch Hashem, here. Us, here. Life is quite good here in Manchester, isn't it? Rabbi Yisrael Salanter says one thing that makes us tremble, that life is relatively good, it's only because Hashem behaves b'midas ha'chesed or b'midas ha'rachamim. But if chas v'sholom, chas v'cholile, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would behave b'midas hadin, oy gewalt geschrigna, it would become a nightmare. No one would be able to stand it. We forget that. That kol kiyumeinu b'midas ha'rachamim, says Rabbi Yisrael Salanter in Israel. All our existence depends on the generosity of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on his benevolence, on his rachamonis, because he has got rachamonis on us. But it's not b'midas hadin. It's not according to the judgment. If according to the judgment, oy gewalt geschrien. So we read the Tochoches just before Rosh Hashanah so that we should tremble a little bit. We should hear the Tochoches, and that should lead us to charote. I love myself. I love my family. I love my children. So I want them to be good. I want nothing should happen to them, chas v'shalom, and nothing should happen to me. And what is the way? What is the security? There's only one way, tshuva. That is charote. So we read the Tochoches before Rosh Hashanah so that Tichle Shono Vekile Lo Seyo. It's not just a prayer, Tichle Shono Vekile Lo Seyo, we hope for the best. Let the year finish with all its tragedies. It's not enough. Utshuve, utfile, utdoke, utfile, utshuve, utdoke. You pray, but you have to do tshuve, and you have to give tzdoke. Tzdoke is in order to be berachem, kol merachem al abriyos, merachem olo min hashomayim, rachmones. Have rachmones on others. Tzdoke tatzil mimoves, because you give life to the poor. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you life. Tefillah, because tefillah is bakoshes rachamim. Tefillah makes the Rebbeinu Shalom change from midas hadin to midas rachamim. Tefillah. Have pity on us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu has pity. When we ask for pity, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has pity. And then there is tshuva. Tshuva. How do you do tshuva? Charote. How do you get to charote? Tochoches. איך לא יוגורתי מתוכחוס על אורבוין מן השפוטים ורואים כי רבים החויבים לו ראשו. If I stay a rosh, gewalt, how many sufferings are reserved to the rosh in this world, and worse even in the next world, chas v'sholom. So we read the Tochoches so that Tichle Shono Vekile Lo Seyo, so that we should do tshuva, and then there will be no more kloles. And the Gemara asks, okay, for the Tochoches of Parshas Kisovoi, we read them just before Rosh Hashanah, and what about the Tochoches of Imbechukosai, which we read just before Shavuos? And the Gemara says, yes, because Shavuos also is a Yom Adin. B'Shavuos, ba'atzeres, Yudim ala peiros oilon. We are judged on the fruits of the tree. So there also we have to read Tochoches. In order to be Zoiche b'Yom Adin shel Shavuos, we should have good fruits for the rest of the year. You see, everything depends on the Tochoches, because Tochoches is the way to lead us to change our life. As we said before, if we feel insecurity, as is a false sense of security. The only real sense of security is with tshuva. Without tshuva, it's a false sense of security. I heard from people who were in Warsaw at the declaration of the war, 1st of September, 1939. They said, one day everything was normal. Everything was normal, completely normal. Peace in the land. Everybody was doing his own affairs. From one day to the next, it became a nightmare, a Gehenna mamish. Bombs were falling all over the place. The world turned upside down from one day to the next. You hear that? And they told me the feeling of utter surprise. Everybody was disoriented. They didn't know whether it was a dream or a reality. That's what it is. The false sense of security. False sense of security. And lo aleinu ba'minon nicht verkeinem gedacht. We all had once, maybe in our life, such a feeling of like a thunderbolt, a lightning falling suddenly, a sudden switch from midas hachesed to midas. No one wants it. No one wants it. And the only way to secure ourselves is ut tshuva, ut tefillah, ut tzedakah, ma'avir in usrak. That's our hope, to have tich leshono v'kilo loseyo. And after that, then we have to start going in on a higher sphere of Akoras HaToiv, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help us, grant us yata dishmaya take, to be zoichet to tshuva shleime shemagas hat kisei hakovet.